In a busy town named Afun, there lived a man called Stanley. Stanley was known for his stylish clothes, expensive perfume, and flashy cars. Everyone in town thought he was a wealthy and businessman. He always made sure to show up at the most expensive restaurants, clubs, and parties. But there was a secret about Stanley that only he knew. He was not rich at all, he was just very good at pretending. Stanley worked as a clerk in a small office. His salary was barely enough to cover his basic needs, but he spent most of it on renting luxury cars, buying fake designer clothes, and paying for expensive meals. He believed that if people thought he was rich, he would be respected and admired. Meanwhile, in the same town, there was a young lady named Sandra. Sandra was beautiful and elegant, and she came from a wealthy family. Her father, Mr. Okafor, owned a large company, and her mother was a famous fashion designer. Despite her parents' wealth and success, Sandra was incredibly lazy. She hated the idea of working or doing anything productive. She always said, I don't need to work. All I have to do is marry a rich man and my life will be perfect. Sandra's father, Mr. Okafor, loved his daughter dearly. He often tried to convince her to come to his company and learn about the business. He would say,
Sandra, my dear, you should come to the office and see how the business runs.
one day this company will be yours and you need to know how to manage it. But Sandra always refused. She would respond, Daddy, I don't need to work. I just need to find a rich husband who will take care of me. She spent her days shopping, going to salons, and attending parties, believing that her beauty and charm would attract a wealthy suitor. One sunny afternoon, Stanley and Sandra paths crossed at the exclusive beach club. Stanley, as usual, was dressed in his finest clothes and driving a rented luxury car. Sandra was lodging by the pool, sipping a cocktail and chatting with her friends. Stanley noticed Sandra and was immediately captivated by her beauty. He decided to introduce himself.
Hello, beautiful lady.
He said with a charming smile.
My name is Stanley. I couldn't help but notice you from across the pool.
Sandra looked up at Stanley and smiled. Hi, I am Sandra, she replied. Nice to meet you, Stanley. What do you do? Stanley, not wanting to reveal his true situation, lied smoothly.
I am a businessman. I own several companies and travel a lot for work.
Sandra's eyes sparkled with interest. That is impressive, she said. I love traveling too. Maybe we should go on a trip together sometime. Stanley felt a surge of excitement. He thought he had finally won the perfect girl who believed in his fake wealth. That sounds like a great idea, he said.
How about dinner tomorrow night? I know a fantastic restaurant we could go to.
Sandra agreed and they exchanged phone numbers. As Stanley walked away, he felt triumphant. He had managed to impress Sandra and he was sure that she would fall for his charms and his supposed wealth. However, neither Stanley nor Sandra realized that their paths were about to become much more complicated. Stanley web of lies and Sandra's unrealistic dreams would soon lead them into situations they never expected. The next day, Stanley prepared for his date with Sandra. He rented a fancy car, borrowed an expensive watch from a friend, and made a reservation at one of the most exclusive restaurants in town. He was determined to keep up his heart with Sandra's heart. Sandra, on the other hand, was excited about the date. She spent hours getting ready, choosing the perfect dress, and making sure her makeup was flawless. She was convinced that Stanley was the rich husband she had always dreamed of. As they sat down for dinner, Stanley kept up his charade, talking about his business trips and luxury properties. Sandra listened with wide eyes, impressed by everything he said. She thought she had finally found her ticket to a life of ease and luxury, but as the night went on, cracks began to appear in Stanley's story. He stumbled over details, mixed up names, and gave baffled answers to Sandra's questions. Sandra started to sense that something was off, but she did not want to believe that her dream man could be a fraud. When the bill came, Stanley had to raise. He barely had enough money to cover the meal, and he prayed that Sandra wouldn't notice his nervousness. He handed over his credit card, hoping it wouldn't be declined. To his relief, the payment went through, and Sandra did not seem to notice his anxiety. As they left the restaurant, Stanley felt a mixture of relief and dread. He knew he couldn't keep up the act forever, but he was determined to try. Sandra, meanwhile, was still enchanted by Stanley. She believed she had finally found the rich husband she had always dreamed of, and she was eager to see where their relationship would go. But their journey together was just beginning, and both Stanley and Sandra would soon learn that living a lie and dreaming unrealistic dreams could lead to unexpected consequences. Watch out for the please like, share, comment and follow this channel for more. Thanks for watching.